When was the last time you were able to put your phone down and not touch it throughout the rest of the day? Between the 10th and the 13th of August 2025, you noticed there was an extremely strong addiction. Every 5 minutes, your brain would compel you to want to pick it up. The compulsion was so strong that you would often struggle to not hold the phone and even put it down. This is obviously a problem. This phone problem, remember it. It will be an important analogy to recall. If we ever fall into the trap of thinking our romantic interest displays as an avoidant, or a B.P.D, or a narcissist, etc., beware. The whole reason we think of them in this way is because we see an image that paints this person in this way, or light, like a tainted lens, wishing for change, but struggling to find it. The way we are addicted to our phones is the same way we are addicted to the image or the painting that's playing out in our head. The program may refer to these images as the voices. The image that's playing out in our head, if we try to put that down, like our phone, our brain is going to keep on trying to literally spawn thoughts to bring that image back up. Because we've been so addicted to it, it's very challenging not to be addicted to something like that. Pain, drama, chaos. Even if we do feel secure, there may still be negative images of things we don't like popping up anyway. The whole problem in our relationship dynamics actually has nothing to do with the other party or their problems per se. Yes, they have their problems and carry out their dramas. They might cheat, lie, hurt you, never get back to you, or tell you that they never really loved you, etc. But the problem we're facing doesn't really have anything to do with them. The problem we have is that is the image we play in our head. Let's say something goes horribly wrong. We might then automatically attribute that problem with them, even if it's unconscious. If we look at cheating, for example, we might think,
"Oh, look, they are a cheater. They're a bad person. They're a narcissist, a liar, etc."
We see the whole character in that light, and that is called the fundamental attribution error. That can be a default response mechanism. And perhaps, if you were to develop some type of empathy, which can kill FAE bias, you might be able to change the image in your head and look at that person as someone who was just trying to resolve their own pain. You can come to understand where they were coming from. You can see that maybe the reasons they were being hypersexual or promiscuous with other partners who didn't really give a shit about them instead of you could be because they didn't know how to regulate their own emotions yet and would rather feel lusted over now than have to deal with their own numbness and hollowness, the hole in their heart. Or the reason they have promiscuous sex is also because they want to emotionally distance themselves away from you, because deep down, they know they love you. But emotional vulnerability frightens the crap out of them. And chaos is far more familiar and safer to them. And this is very normal. We have two legitimate reasons as to why a girl can be acting very hypersexual and promiscuous, right? But here's the problem. Now that we've changed our image from,
"Oh, she's an abusive narcissist,"
to,
"Oh, I understand she has difficulty being vulnerable. She has challenges, etc."
and you feel empathy for her. But this doesn't really resolve our own conflict. As we may have come to realize over time, empathy, while being a very important tool to understand one another in the relationship itself, doesn't appear to be sufficient in attracting or maintaining a relationship on its own or getting what we want. So, what prevents a solidified relationship from coming about? Our problem is that we are playing the wrong game. We can see all these anxious attachment-style coaches on TikTok and YouTube. We can see all these people identifying as borderline personality disorder talking about their own personal experiences, trying to help others with similar challenges. But no matter how much we learn in any of these realms, it wouldn't be sufficient in getting the results that we want. And that's because in order to get what we actually want, akin to the phone addiction, we need to completely change the image that we paint in our head into a brand new image. The program calls this the process of retethering. We have to become very addicted to changing the image that plays out in our head. We need to be changing the way we see ourselves and how we overcome challenges. We need to see ourselves as being someone who is magnetic. And the thing is, this has nothing to do with the partner that we've been thinking about.
Part 1.2 Retethering.
Our mind spawns thoughts out of thin air like bubbles rising from the bottom of a boiling kettle pot. They literally arise out of nowhere. That's how our thoughts actually pop up. That's how they form. And they form in this way especially towards anything they are addicted to. These thoughts, they are addicted to whatever image that sits with you. Basically, this means that the things that happen around us, whether it's to us, whether it's for us, we attract it to us like a magnet. Yes, there are things outside of our control, but if we assume the form of radical accountability, then we might come to see that the things that are happening around us and in our relationships is because we attracted those things. And the reason we attracted those things is because we have an image in our mind with a bunch of voices, with a bunch of thoughts, and a bunch of ripple effects. The program refers to this as feedback loops and chain reactions. Essentially, there's a painting in our head of how we see ourselves, our self-concept, and how we see another person. And this other person, they have their own issues. They have things going on for them. Whether we see them as an avoidant, a B.P.D, some type of SP who isn't contacting us, or whatever the case, these images that play out in our head causes us to see them and everything else as such. No, their actions are not within our control. What they do is up to them. There's nothing we can really do about it per se. But is that 100% true in the sense that we don't have any control? Because we actually do have a fair bit of control, and not just in terms of how we interpret what they're doing. Because our focus is still on them. The thoughts that spawn into our mind are constantly thinking about what's going on with them. Why are they acting the way they are? And to an extent, there is indeed some underlying truth to be found deep beneath what is really going on. Whether they're being hypersexual because they feel empty or because they're trying to distance themselves from you emotionally, whatever the case, even if that's true, is that information useful to you? What can you really do with that information once you have it? What are you supposed to do? Become ultra empathetic? You want that relationship. You want that commitment. You want that stability. You want to receive and give that love. You could let her cry on your shoulders, but the truth is, she would still not choose you. And again, that's because empathy does not get you what you want. And that's because we've been playing the wrong game. If we are fat and we look at ourselves in the mirror, would you say that it's the sugar's fault as to the reason why we are fat? Yes, sugar has its effects, it's true. Now, what can you do with this information? Well, we can change the way we see sugar, sure, but it doesn't address the real problem. The real problem, the real question, is what was the sugar doing in your kitchen pantry to begin with? Why were we allowing BS into our lives? Why were we allowing the spawning of our thoughts to be addicted to an outcome, a poisonous image, instead of surrendering to a process, a new image? In our head, this image is a cycle, and this cycle has ripple effects. And these ripple effects traverse and manifest into our reality. And then, like food, we consume that reality and we internalize it. And our internal world, again, repeats to become externalized. But we keep on reacting to the realm of effect. And then we keep consuming the reflection, absorbing it, internalizing it, and then excrementing it. That isn't a relationship problem. It's a scientific problem.